in the days in Brazil, were there a lot of like bigger tournaments or only smaller like local tournaments between gyms or anything?
You know, like we didn't have many competitions today, for example, but the best thing for me was that all the big tournaments was in Rio de Janeiro, and it's exactly where I come from. So for me, it was easy to go to Brazilian Nationals was there. Rio States was one of the biggest one back in the days. The Worlds was in Brazil, was in Rio. And the small tournaments that was there. But for the guys that travel, for example, if I use Braulio Stima as an example, he comes from Recife, in the north of Brazil. I don't believe they have many competitions there, and they have to travel all the way down to Rio. You know, the guys from Amazonas. So I didn't have to deal with this because I believe that those guys were suffering way more.
You were living in the Jiu-Jitsu Mecca at that time.
Yeah. Straight up. Like you think about like, who is it? Is it like Dracare from Manaus? I mean, there's not much over there, right? Or like...
And Roraima, like Hulk comes from there, Pantanal, Cyborg comes from there. Roraima also, Diego Borges. So there is places that there is... Mário Reis have to drive from South, Rina Verdun, to go to Rio and fight. Man, it's far.
You forget how big
Brazilian
is a massive country.
It's like Europe.
Yeah, it's huge.
So for me, Rio was good. I mean, we didn't have as much competitions, but also was a lot of things like, for example, it happened to me once. I beat one guy in a competition. That guy was considered like one of the favorite guys there, but I won against him, and then his coach asked my coach if he could bring his guy to my gym and spar with me, and we put money.
Holy shit, they did that.
Then that was good. You know, that was also things that happened back in the days. But the main thing was to fight on the street and to protect the owner of your gym. You know, until today, I never been in another gym in Rio if there is not where I come from. The gyms that I train is Tereres Project and Rico Vieira's gym. Like Cantagalo Project and that's it. I don't go to De La Riva, Castle Gracie. No way, that would never happen. That would never. I don't know. I don't know other way.
If they would invite you today, would you go then?
Man, I will talk with my coach. Even though we're not the same team anymore, I will talk with Rico for sure. I will talk to Rico.
I think people forget about how like the culture of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu will never be the same outside of Brazil as it is in America. Like American Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu culture is very different from what I imagine is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu culture in Brazil. And even in Asia, even here in Sweden, right? Like
some things I don't understand.
So different. Right?
I'm sorry about some things.
So it's like
some things is hard for me to understand. But I think that as a competitor, I think that this is a very important part that you must to have. You know, you need to have this war feeling. You know, even though the guy is your opponent, we've been prepared to see the guys as an enemy. And our coaches always told us like, you're doing this for your life. There is only spot for one. You are 50. 49 guys want to take it away from you. And not in a kind of way. They want to embarrass you in front of the whole crowd. You know, they want to break part of your body, or they want to put you to sleep, or they want to make you give up. How that going to be? So this kind of mentality, when you hear the guy that you look up to telling you that this is the way, after a while you start to believe it. You know? So it's slowly that you start to change your way of seeing things and think. You know, but I would have problem to train with one guy that I know that in 1 or 2 weeks we're gonna be competing against each other. Me, that would never happen. You know, I can say that most of the guys that grow up with me in the competition scenario, that was opponents, we start maybe talk with each other now. Vitor Stima, Claudio Calazans, Guto Campos, Marcelo Garcia. We say hi nowadays because we mastered 3 and we done. Before, like I never heard Calazans' voice until lately now. And we know each other for
you only know the way he breathes.
You know? It's how it is, and we are that way.
Yeah.
Our generation is like that. It's how it is. You know, we don't know other way, and I don't think it's wrong that the guys have peace with the opponents and they can compete next week. But I would never be able to do this. I need. This is part of my preparation. I need my focus on. Don't see the guy as a close friend, and during my training, I need to be comfortable for training, not to keep things on the pocket because I can fight this guy that is beside me next week. Because that's how I think. For me personally, it doesn't work.
Oh, but that is very limiting if you have to I gotta hide my cards. I can't show everything. I have to, then you have to save that for when you're on the mat, which is you want to do everything you want to do in the fight. You want to already have done it a million times in the training room.
Yeah. I mean, we can go out, we can party, we can drink a beer, we can watch TV, we can play football, volleyball. I can help the guy to move. If he's moving from a house to another, I carry the things. But don't. I don't want to train with you. I don't want to train with you, man. You know, I want to. You know, I always jiu-jitsu always was my tool of, how am I gonna say, solving my necessities. So most of the times I won a competition, I didn't just want to win. 99% of the time I needed to win. I needed to. And that's the difference. I needed to win. For whatever private reason, personal that I have, I needed to do it. And I know there also was other guys that needed to, but in the end of the day, when things goes down, you know how much is important for you and you have to do the job. You know, and for me it would be hard to train with a guy unless we are the same team, and then it's a different thing. We're gonna reach maybe to a final, and then if I already won the tournament 1, 2 years before, or whatever, one time before, and my friend haven't, and we've been training together in the same gym for many years, I have zero problem to let him win. Give the victory to him, as I have done, and also people have done for me. You know, but a guy from a different team than mine, I would never be training with him in the preparation. Never.
But I think this is also if you think about jiu-jitsu as an individual sport, this is part of being in an individual sport. This is one of those things that whether or not you want to deal with it comes with competing in an individual sport. You have to be selfish in your preparation, in your mindset, and your approach. Whatever works for you, you need to put yourself first.
Yes, you know, and this I believe that for me was the best decision I took to accomplish result as an athlete, but also the worst decision I took. Why? Because before Finfou existed, there was Alan, right? So everybody that is attached to Alan, in some point when Finfou show up in my life, I hurt them. Because, for example, I haven't been there for my kids as much as I needed. First of all, I haven't been there for my mom, presence, as much as I needed. If you go to my mom or to any one of my kids, ask them how many times your father is world champion, how many times your father is World Pro Champion. How many times your father is European champion? Nobody knows. In reality, they are happy for me. They are proud of seeing, but they don't give a damn about it, honestly. They care about the Alan. You understand? And every time in my life, when I understood that Finfou was a new character, every time somebody like questioning me for responsibility of Alan, what did I do? I run to Finfou. Because in Finfou's word, nobody questioned. I'm one of the best. I say people listen. So I'm safe there. I'm comfortable here. And many years was passing like this. So, and then after a while you start to think back and you see that your family start getting used to don't have you around. Because you're away. You go to the gym and you train morning, afternoon, night, and then you go back home, everybody's sleeping. So, and it's been like this for many years. I mean, 28 years of Jiu-Jitsu, it's been like this. So, I don't say the price, because this, today with the mentality that I have, it's a value that is really expensive. Because, for example, who was the world champion, black belt adult, 5 years ago, light feather division? You see? Nobody knows, except the guy and the one that lost in the final. Yeah. You see? Because the time in Jiu-Jitsu, the momentum is very short. You come down from the podium, next week is another tournament, and another one, and 1 month later, nobody remember what happened now. And then when you are in that spot, you leave that moment of fame, and you want to hold on to this, and then is that one more reason why you don't want to let it go of that. So the next week you have to be that again, and do the same thing, and so on and so on. And that goes 1 year, then goes another year. So my whole life, as an athlete, all I have been doing, prepare for competing. Nothing more. Prepare for fighting. That was it.
But I have one question. Finfou, the nickname Finfou, how did you get it? And what does it mean?
Was one time, because this is the name of a kid's game in the favela. Mm-hmm. You know, if everybody's in the room and somebody is screaming, 1, 2, 3, Finfou, everyone have to be quiet. Mm-hmm. You can't laugh, you can't make any sound, you can't talk. If you do that, everybody jump you and beat you. So, always.
I thought it was like a board game or something. Or hide and seek when you were saying 1, 2, 3.
You know, and then one day, every time I played that, I was always getting beat, because once everybody get quiet, I start to laugh. I couldn't look at everyone quiet. So always I was getting beat. So one day, just was another guy that calls Alan. His name was Alan also. There was a competition. Back in the days, you could register with the nickname also. You could put your name and your nickname. You didn't need to register with the last name. So then Terere put my name and put Finfou, and then everybody was like, because when we was supposed to compete back in the days, you couldn't just sign in. Your coach had to choose the guys. And the worst thing that could happen in our class was if you don't get picked to fight. And then that would hurt you. So and then when Terere read the names, okay, the guys are gonna compete this tournament, this day, and he say every belt, division, and then when he came to my name, he say Alan Finfou, and everybody, who's that? And he said, it's you. I'm like, why Finfou? And they said, because always when we play, you laugh, you don't want to get beat at most. So I didn't like that. And everybody start to laugh, you know, when the leaders say things, everybody, So I got pissed. That was my mistake. So then the guys kept calling me Finfou because I didn't like it in the beginning. And they even call home. And then I live with my grandma back then. So my grandma picked up the phone and they said, it's Finfou at home. And then she was getting mad too. Nobody here with that name. So after a while I started to
accept it.
Yeah, you have no choice.
You live by the rules of the favela, man. But so you started with Terere, and what made you come to Sweden, man? Because that's like, I think that's a story that maybe not a lot of people, of all the places in the world, Alan, why and how here?
You know, guys, I think like this. Sometimes you can train jiu-jitsu as much as you can. You can put hours and hours of your life, you can put everything there. But if the sport don't choose you, I'm sorry, you're not gonna get anywhere. So I believe that somehow the sport choose me. Because one day a Swedish guy came to the gym to train. And the day before, Rico Vieira went to hold a camp in the island side of Rio with Felipe Costa and all the guys, Cumprido.
And black belt.
Yes, Brazilian black belt camp.
Yeah.
So, and then Rico said to me like this, Finfou, you hold the classes. Because he used me, always when he hold the class, he always tell me, start to warm up. When he showed the technique, he showed on me. So I was always in the classes in the gym, and people was used to see me with him, but I was just a purple belt. So he said, you hold the classes and I will be back in a few days. I said, but you'll be black belts in the classes, I don't want to do that. And he was like, okay, if a black belt come, you tell them that I'm not here, you ask if they want to hold the class or if they want to do their own thing on the side or if they want to participate. You give the choice to them. Okay. Day after, one Swedish guy show up in the gym. And then he asked to train, but he came in the time there was the project guys. Only the favela guys. The time that we couldn't turn on the lights of the gym was wild. And I told him, bro, don't come now. No, come at night. He said like, no, I want to train with you guys. Okay. He did the training. After that training, he asked me like, if there would be an opportunity, would you be interested to come to Sweden? I left the army. I didn't have money to go to university. All I was doing was jiu-jitsu. I was in the gym every day, all day. And I told him, man, if I got the chance, I go anywhere. So then he said, okay, I'm gonna talk with a few guys and I'm gonna try to make it work for you. But then I said, but you have to talk with Rico. It's not me who decide. So Rico came back the next week. They met, but Rico already been in Sweden holding a camp here. So they knew each other. And then Rico said, look, you're gonna go. You're gonna go.
But who was it?
Stefan said.
Yeah.
Stefan said was the guy. You know, and then he had to go to the favela to talk with the guys there and everything, talk with my family. And everybody say, you gotta go. And
but did you know where Sweden was?
No. No, the closest thing I knew about Sweden was the football national team 1994.
Yeah.
All the guys, because I followed that World Cup and Brazil won against Sweden. I think it was semi-final.
Twice,
yeah. So, and then some players at this team, until today, the guys in Brazil talk about them. You know, like there was Ravelli, Kennedy Anderson, Henke Larsson.
I think Kenneth Andersson is from Eskilstuna.
Thomas Brolin and Martin Dan. These guys, people still talk about them in Brazil. So, and that Garrincha have a daughter in Sweden. When they came, I think it was in when Brazil won here with Pelé and the guys, he make a women pregnant in Sweden.
Okay.
Because like later on when they showed that when he died, they discovered that he have a child in Sweden. That was the two things I knew about him. I didn't know. And then when I told the guys in the gym, they explained me that, are you sure? Because it's really cold there. I said, man, I didn't have even been in the airplane. I didn't know how anything was. So, and then Stefan came back to Sweden, fixed everything. That was around August, September 2004. And then December 2004, he called and said, oh, your ticket is there. You're coming next week. So December 4th, I landed in Denmark. So then he was there, meet me and drove me to Malmo. I was in Malmo first.
So what was that like, man? A guy that's never been to Sweden, you don't know anything about it. All you know is training in Rio, and now you're in Sweden. What was the training like? What was like life like? Your English was shit back then, right?
No English.
I remember talking to Tom about it. He was like,
But Stefan, he could talk Portuguese, right?
Yeah, a little bit Spanish and Portuguese because he was already traveling to Brazil often.
Yeah.
So he could speak Portuguese.
And back then, was it Brasa then, the team, or was it Fights?
Brasa.
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 Yeah.
Brasa. So I didn't even know anything, man. The guys have to help me to get to the airport. I didn't know how I was in the plane. So I thought that if you stand up, they would think you're a terrorist. I thought the food you have to pay. So I didn't eat anything, I didn't say anything. From Rio to Paris. And then I went to a guy, and then he drove for me something for the other gate I should go. Stefan sent a letter that I have to show in immigration. Then I showed, they let me pass and change plane, and then got to Denmark. I got to Malmo, December 2004, man. It was cold.
Winter.
It was the middle of the winter. I left Brazil in the middle of summer, landed here, snow everywhere.
Did you have a jacket?
No, one guy gave me from Stefan, one of Stefan's friend. He gave me a jacket. Like, I didn't know anything, man. And Stefan just gave me a English book that was like a dictionary, and then he teach me how to turn on the TV and DVD. He said, I leave home 5 in the morning, come back to lunch, go back again to work, and then I come back at afternoon, so we go to train. Then he said, the train is 3 times a week.
3 times a week?
And I was like, what? What do you guys mean? Yeah, we train 3 times a week. And that was for me the biggest issue.
Yeah.
That was the first time I heard someone say, some guys in the gym will say, oh, we're training. I never heard that before. So then Stefan said to me like this, look, if you be good at jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna take you from here to here. But if you be good at jiu-jitsu and you know how to speak English, it can take you anywhere. So you must learn this. And then he teach me how to get myself into learning. Time was the thing that I had the most. I had to be in Sweden 3 months.
But you lived at Stefan's house.
Yes. So I was alone most of the time because he was working.
Yeah. But it's a big responsibility from Stefan to do, like, bring a kid from...
Yeah.
Okay, but nothing, but a young man.
I was 20,
Yeah.
22. I was 22. Yeah. So, but later on, many years later, I asked Stefan why. Many years later, if I'll be more, maybe 3 years ago, I asked him, why you choose me? In the mat was many guys, world champions, I wasn't. Many guys was like black belts, brown belts. He could pick any one of them. I was just a random guy then. I asked him why, then he said, I felt that was the right thing to do, and then I chose to do it. And then he asked me, why are you asking me that now? And then he said, because until today you never asked for anything back. Most of the people that crossed my life, that helped me in any way, they want something back. Or something, a benefit out of having me there with them. But Stefan never. I never gave him anything. Not that. Until today, that's why. So then he said, one day if you do the same thing for somebody else, then you pay your debt. That was it.
That's nice.
That was it.
But you go down there, you have a seminar
Yes.
like almost every year or
No,
something.
man, for me, it's the place that I go and I can see the old guys, the first friends I made in Sweden. You know, I can see most of them there, they're still training. And then we can share the histories of back in the days with all the new guys in the gym and see how successful and how big his gym is now. You know, I'm really happy for him. I think if there is a guy that deserves it, I can absolutely tell that he's one of them.
Yeah, he seems like a really. I've only met him in person. I think just this last time in Europeans. This seems like a really nice guy, and his gym looks amazing. It's a huge mat space. I mean, he's got lots of students. They have like a big kickboxing program as well, and
Yeah.
it looks like it's doing really well over there. What is there a big difference between jiu-jitsu in that part of Sweden and jiu-jitsu in like Stockholm? So I feel like that part of Sweden and like Denmark, they've got their own little scene going, and then you have the Stockholm scene going.
Yeah.
From the outside, at least, it looks like that.
I mean, it's like different styles go according to the coaches,
Yeah.
you know, because in the end of the day it's all jiu-jitsu, but I mean, according to the coach's style and the environment. I mean, if you have a gym in the ghetto where it's rough, the language that you're going to speak with the guys is different, you know, and in other areas it's going to be a different type of approach, man. So, and then things get running and going in different ways, I think.
But when you said like, when you heard that it was only 3 training sessions per week, like, what did you do about it? Did you say to Stefan, this way, I need more training. How can we add more training sessions or?
No, I complained to Rico.
Okay.
You go back to that.
I go home like after 1 week, because the first week everything was new, but from the second week on I start I feel that I want to go back home.
Reality.
Yeah, man, I wanna. Was no sun, was dark, I was alone, only studying English all the time. No, it was tough. It was very tough for me. Like in that time it was hard. And then I told Rico, I say, how am I gonna come back to Brazil and win the worlds? That was my dream. I didn't win the worlds. Everything I was doing for that was for that.
You were still a purple belt at this time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I say, how? I'm training 3 times a week here. You know, I'm gonna come back in March. Then he said, yeah, but then when you're back here, you train all the times that you used to. So Rico didn't care much. No, he said, man, look, you are there and I see you in 3 months. This is it.
Yeah.
And again, later on, Rico told me why. You know, Rico took care of me in a very special way. This I have to say, because if we look at my results and the belts, I won the Worlds 2005 as a purple belt, and I got my black belt in 2006.
That's the same year as Stefan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what happened then? I was brown belt only for 7 months. I won the Worlds purple, and then I got the brown belt in the graduation in January, when we had the Rico's birthday, 9th of January in the party. Then we had the graduation and his birthday. So, and then I came to Sweden, and then we competed the Europeans. So I stayed brown belt until the next World Championship, 2006. I won as a brown and I got a black belt at the podium. So, but during that period, so much things was happening in my life outside of the mats. So 2004, my father died. 2006, my younger brother died. 2010, my other brother died. So it was too many things happening that Rico was afraid that I would lose my focus and step into criminality. Mm-hmm. You know, I have too much personal reasons to migrate to that area because all of them got killed. So what Rico was doing, when it happened with my father, he directly put me in the gym to help him with the classes. So, and then 2 years later, my little brother. So he wanna keep me even more, but I've been in Sweden already, you know, 2 times. So he was even holding me more. Stay at home and let me hold the class by myself. So put me in responsibilities in the gym so I could keep myself busy there.
Mm. It's like protecting you.
Yeah. And sometimes I did the trainings and then, especially Fridays, and then he called home after a while to see at night if I was at home already. And then he said, okay, come early Saturday and open the gym because we have the open mat. So I wouldn't go to the body funk parties, hang out to the wrong guys. So because one thing lead to another. It doesn't matter how much people say. When you're in these kind of situations, your mind gonna shake. So, and Rico was always trying to keep me busy with this. When the opportunity to Sweden came, he just threw me out. But my dream then was to take care of Fight Zone Rio. Rico would go to another country or he would start to teach less and I would take care of the gym. This was my dream. You know, I never want to go anywhere. I want to stay there, keep the team going, keep the training going. Because in Cantagalo, today, we're up like maybe 70 black belts active. So, like the names that you guys can recognize is me, Bruno Matias, Trator, Sandrinho, Jansen Gomes, Jonathan Gomes, Nathan Schweng, Jonathan Marques. So the guys are active in the black belt scenario. And many other guys coming. So Jiu-Jitsu in our favela, it's something that everybody put a lot of expectation in. Because everyone there have done, is doing, or gonna do Jiu-Jitsu. We have 3 projects there, producing high-level guys the whole time. Why? Because today, they can look at me and they say, I want to be like this guy. They look at Jackson that is living in England. They look at Bruno Matias that live here. They look at Lecky that is living in Singapore. D'Angelo that is in China. Lauro, Leo, Andrea, Angie in Abu Dhabi. So it's so many guys out there. So Jiu-Jitsu today for Cantagalo is the favela where we come from. It's an investment. The boy get to the project, training, study, start to be successful. He gonna end up somewhere. Somebody gonna get him. Yeah. So for me, I see that evolution came by the work that Tererê did first, and Rico Vieira managed to, how I gonna say, Tererê make us fighters, you know. Don't be afraid of anybody. Believe in yourself. Tererê, and because he was close to us, and we see who he became, we could see him as a mirror, you know, have him as a reference. But Rico educate us to make us professional. Teach us how to hold a class. Teach us how to talk to people, how to behave. Like these kind of things we got from Rico. And that connection between both, I mean, for me was perfect. And now I think that the entire Cantagalo, they owe a lot of respect to those 2 guys. For sure.
Well, if we go back to looking at your career, okay? Because we want to talk about the transition of being more of a coach now, which is your focus in the last maybe few years, I think, right? You were still competing a little bit here and there, but your focus was mainly on coaching guys at a high level, coaching UFC athletes, your students in Stockholm. But before we get to that, I just have some questions about your career, right? And your training. Nowadays, for me at least, when I'm training, I watch a lot of film. It's so easy to get access to watch flow and watch tournaments and this and that. And I think it's so helpful to learn jiu-jitsu when you have a good foundation and you also have the ability to study film, study other fighters. Mm-hmm. What was it like for you guys? Because you didn't have YouTube back then. I mean, besides training on the mat and getting the information from your coaches or your training partners, was there anything else that you could do to supplement your training, or was it all just done in the mat, in the training room?
Oh, everything was done in the mat. Every single thing was there. And to be honest, was done in the mat during classes.
Yeah.
Never, ever a coach. I never got the guy aside because he's competitor and give him extra attention.
Yeah.
Never happened. At least to me, I never see. My coaches, they never done things exactly like this because everybody was fighting, everybody was competing. And maybe he said, oh, this guy that you fight, he does this, pay attention there. And then the other one, oh, you like this. But not like one specific thing. Everybody need to be focused and perform every day. Every day we learn how to concentrate in those kind of situations. Our training was like this. Especially in fight zone Rio. Every day when I come to the gym, I had the butterfly in my belly. I was nervous like I was going to a competition because I knew it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be fucked up. That's the thing. That's the word. And you get to the gym, nobody's talking. During the time, nobody's getting ready. Hey man, what's up? Like this? Oh yeah. Oh. After the training was done, and then the whole vibe is different. For better or for worse, because sometimes guys get into fights in the middle of the training too. But mostly the nice vibe always came after the training. Then we go to the beach and then this. But as soon as we go, okay, we're going to train again, you feel that. And the coach was only throwing more gasoline in the fire. Now we're going to have a ranking in the gym. Who we think that beat each other, in the end of the week, get a t-shirt. Wasn't for the t-shirt, you know what I mean? So this kind of things was always being built in the jiu-jitsu, in the time of the classes. Was just that.
Okay.
And of course, like a month after competition, there came this HVS.
Yeah.
That they show the tournaments.
Yeah.
With the finals of a competition.
Okay.
And then you watch the finals again. But either we go to the competition to see what people are doing, or you have to go to the gym and do the job.
That's what I was thinking. It's like nowadays maybe you pay more as a competitor when you're not fighting. You're paying way more attention on the side. It's not like now I'm done fighting, I'm gonna chill, go get acai, watch the fights, hang out with your homies. Sometimes don't even watch the fights, But back then I imagine you didn't have flow grappling or anything, so it was like you gotta watch. If you lost your division, you're not gonna leave. You have to stick around and see who won and see who. That's how I imagine it. So it's like. Yeah, it's a different time. You had a thick skin back then.
And also one thing that Terere was doing very much was taking us to competition. Even when we wasn't competing on him, he always put us there.
Yeah.
So we could be watching all the guys and he said, oh, this guy is that guy, this guy is Paulo Pinha, this guy is Amaury Bitetti, this guy is Murilo Bustamante, look, he's good at this.
Yeah.
he gonna fight Fabio. We have to support Fabio, and we have to be there and screaming. And it was like also a way that he could keep us always hanging out with each other.
Like a team.
Yeah, and keep us out of the favela.
Yeah.
You know, Terere wanna go and surf, and he go to everybody's house. Let's go, so let's go to the beach. You know, and then 3, 2, 1, somebody's already grappling with each other on the sand. You know, so I think this was also a way that make us learn.
Yeah.
We used what we had, and this was it.
Okay, who was your best scraps with coming up? Like in Fight Zone, who was the guy you trained with? You guys trained fucking hard. Like you hated training with this guy because it was always like brutal training. Did you ever have a guy like that?
Man,
a guy that like push you and you like.
That was many guys. Some guys they were annoying in different ways, but there was a guy, Sandrinho's brother, Bao. He's a police officer now. Also coming from Cantagalo, black belt. I think he could tell you like this: "I'm gonna submit you with Kimura."
Disrespect.
And then he do. and then when he, as soon as you tap, he say, "I told you." And then you lost the focus. And you wanna do the mistake again. You know, he was like, he get into your mind and then, you know. But then slowly you start overcoming that. He was also like bad, tough rounds, very tough. Bruno Matias when he was competitor. Back then, he was the toughest one because he was bigger and we trained together since day one. He knew everything I was doing, so it was harder. He could rely on his strength. He had the speed to match. He recognized the game, so it was this. And every time Hiko wanna do a highlight, he'd take it. Oh,
Man, Hiko seems like such a cool guy, but one of my first memories of like Hiko was like, you know, when I first started jiu-jitsu, I got into it with my friends. And YouTube back then is not like YouTube now where there's like, you know, there's channels and you know where to go. You just type Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you find what you find on YouTube. And I remember there was a ceremony, Fight Zone.
They
do the gauntlet.
Yeah.
So they do the gauntlet on this poor fucker, right? So they're whipping him. And then at the very end, we see Hiko running and he drop kicks the guy. And we laughed so hard. We're like, what the... This is how they do the gauntlet in Brazil. I'm so happy I'm not getting promoted in Brazil, bro.
I was there in that promotion. I didn't get my belt then. But I remember this day. I remember the video.
Oh, it's brutal.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, but can you tell us a little bit about like how the gym was back in Brazil? Like, because you talked about it during lunch. Like, I mean, it's carpet and concrete basically.
Yeah, now the beginning was like this, you know, we didn't have mats, and there was a guy that was picking us to teach. He wasn't the roof of his house, had carpet and concrete only. So that was the first approachment. But when Terere got to one spot that where he built the first project, that we have mats.
Okay.
And that was nice, you know. Was in a place that today became a kindergarten. And that was exactly the very first when he picked the guys that walk around the favela, talk about jiu-jitsu. And
Cantagalo's location now, because I see you always training there when you're back home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has it always been there? Is it the same one that it's been?
No, the very first one, it closed, became a kindergarten.
Yeah.
And then moved to that place,
Okay.
like in the early 2000s, and then that is where I've always been.
Okay.
Is it big or
No.
how many square meters, Matthew?
I would say that is like maybe
Like the Rebels mat.
yeah.
So around like 60,
70 or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
Yeah.
And how many
Something.
people used to train?
As many classes.
Uh,
As many classes.
But how many people in the same class do you think?
Like the competition team, like when he could build the competition team, we were doing the training Fight Zone. But before that, when Terere just went to São Paulo and introduced him to hold the training for us. We were kind of selected because we trained at 12 o'clock was the competition train. So the other guys was working or in school. So we were like 12 guys only.
Okay. The elite.
The elite, yeah.
Guys.
Yeah, and then at night we repeat the same. Like if there will be a technique, we repeat for the rest of the guys. But this is how it was. And then the competition team, after Tererê opened his own team, he separated from Rico and Leo and the guys from Brasa. So he could put all of us in Fight is Only Real full time. So there was when the team grew very much. Because Rico he was also competing. So he needed to make us good enough to be a training partner for him. So he didn't have to go to São Paulo and train with his brother and the guys. So he pushed us a lot, make us in a good level so he could be competing. And we were winning many tournaments in Rio. And then guys started coming from other gyms to our gym. Like Yuri Simões, Ari Farias, Caio Terra was from there also. Many guys, they started coming, Igor Silva, many guys, they started coming to Rico's gym. That was when the team got really strong. You know, and then later on, André Galvão migrated to Brasa. Together with him came Ramon Lemos, the Mendes brother, Bruno Frazato. So the team was even better. So then we had like a lot of people on the mat at the same time.
Oh, that's just hectic. In my head, what you just described is you stuff Atos, check mat, some alliance, all in the same mat.
And then
that's what it sounds like to me.
And that also put you in a sport like, bro, these guys are coming now. From yesterday they were representing another team. Now they are here. We used to compete in the same weight class, like when Gilbert Burns came. We used to compete a lot with each other. And then he changed to our team too. And all of a sudden he was sometimes training Rico's gym. So,
but how did you feel about it?
No, we can't lose around for these guys. no, we can't lose around.
That's why training wasn't fun, bro. It was like mini comps.
No. That was like, no, hell no. That they understand. Our competition was there. Every day we were like working in the limit. And for me I didn't know any better. There was no science behind the training. It was just hard. And you go, that's it. Now people have more like specific ways to prepare and all that. No, before we didn't have anything like this. No. And if you complained, they call you a pussy and then you don't want to be that one. Was too much ego and too much of a hard mindset.
But was there any girls training at the same time?
Yes.
In general, in Brazil back in those days?
Yes.
Were there like a small clique of girls training, or was it?
Was just a few.
Yeah.
And one of them, it's a girl, her name is Marina Ribeiro.
She was super good.
She won the worlds in every belt.
Yeah.
And she'd been training with us from white to black belt. And I mean, for me, like with all the girls that I've been training with, the most technical and the hardest one was her. The hardest one. And like she suffered. We went hard.
Because she was small too.
Yeah.
She wasn't a big girl.
And she was like, if I can think it right, Marina and Caio Terra was the only people that trained with the guys from favela. The only people from downtown, Copacabana, that trained with us in the project time. Later on, other people started coming. But the guys from downtown, they trained mostly at night. The competition training was pretty much all black guys and three whites. Rico, Caio Terra, and Marina. pretty much of it. You know, and we didn't have girls to match up with her in trainings.
And it's hard to make that when you're used to that kind of environment, right? It's hard to make that, so now I'm going with a girl, so I'm gonna kind of bring down the intensity. You're not. If you have that intensity, you keep that on until the training's done, right?
And again, I mean, like I say, he could educate us. But before we get to education, you know, even like how to roll with the girl, I tell she suffered, man. We were like, we were going wild, you know. So, but this is also a thing that we got from Rico.
Yeah. So, when we look back in your career, is there any matches that you, to this day, you still think about, like, man, this is one of my favorite matches that I wish, like, if I could go back and fight it, do it again, fight it again. Do you have a few of those? Because you've fought some really good guys. You've had some really classic scraps throughout your career.
Yeah, if I would pick one, let's say in the purple belt, when I lost to Lucas Lepri, 6-4, that fight was crazy. Crazy.
6-4, was it like sweet?
Yeah, no, it was like everywhere you can imagine we brought the fight to. I was switching areas to try to find a hole in his game, but he never gave a step back in any area I brought the fight to. Because I noticed that he'd been studying, so I was kind of leading the areas in for a period in the fight, and then he started to be ahead like this. I tried fighting standing up, he was attacking me. I pulled guard, he was passing good. You know, I swept him, he managed to sweep me back. And I was like, and I remember in the middle of the fight, we both was like pushing the pace, lightweight, you know, we physically like in our peak. And I look outside to Rico to see to ask for direction. I look and then Rico say like this. You know, just man, go on. What can I say?
Let loose.
And why I'm saying that, because I lost that fight, I gave everything I could, but that one thing happened. In that fight, that kind of hit me. Was the first time I saw Tererê coach somebody against me.
Okay.
Because when Tererê moved separate from Brasa, he opened TT, Teles and Tererê team. So Lucas Lepri was from one affiliation of Tererê's team in Minas Gerais. So Tererê was in his corner, and I always had Tererê on my side.
So Lucas Lepri got into alliance through Tererê. Is that what?
No, he never been alliance before. That.
Okay.
He was on the team small, and then they migrate to Tererê. But then after Tererê's team finished, he migrated to alliance.
Right. That TT had some like really tough guys back then. I think like Cobrinha was there.
Cobrinha, Lange, Galvão,
Yeah.
Lapela, Abimar, many guys.
Yeah.
So that was the first time. Then I felt a little bit weird. I feel that kind of hit me, you know, because me and Tererê relationship comes from before Jiu-Jitsu. You know, before we start Jiu-Jitsu, we were friends already.
Okay.
You know, and when I saw him coaching the other guy, when the guy won, he was celebrating. And then it kind of made me sad and pissed. And then Rico came to me and said to me, you see, look at your guys there. And some guys from Cantagalo, they were Tererê's team. Because when Rico took us from the project area that we use in Cantagalo to fight zone, because Tererê want to have his space to put his team there, some guys choose to stay.
Okay.
And these guys were supporting the guys from Tererê's team, of course. And then I told Rico, I said, I will never lose for anybody from Tererê's team again in my life. And then after that, that was when I started to compete a lot against Michael Lange. Then all the guys that was from his team, and Tererê was coaching it then, and then I beat them.
But did you have any contact with Tererê during
Yes,
that time?
yes,
Like, you
yes,
were friends?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Still, like I remember this World Championship when Jacaré broke the arm,
Against Roger.
and then the day after, they were at Tererê's house have a barbecue. He went to my place because we live close. I was at home. He went there, invited me, and there I met Saulo Ribeiro, Xande, Leca, Fredson Alves, Jacaré was there. All the guys was there. So I was there hanging out with everyone. So it was no problem. And then in that day, Terere said like this, look, I gave a purple belt to another guy that won the world's now blue belt, Michael Lange. He's lightweight. He gonna beat you too. And I didn't say anything back. I already promised myself that I wouldn't lose to nobody from his team anymore. Then every time I fought Lange, I had this in my head. And Terere coaching him. First 2 times, Terere was there. And then the rest of the time, Terere wasn't.
Mm-hmm. But they should make in the Philippines, we call it a telenovela, like drama. We should make a drama out of jiu-jitsu, bro. That's some good shit.
We take these persons.
This is some good story arcs.
When he invited you, and then he told you this.
Yeah, we were there all hanging out to play kites in the roof of the house, music, food. And then he said, oh, Finfou, I have one guy, he won the world's blue belt lightweight. I gave him the purple belt. I'm gonna come for you too.
His mind playing.
No, I'm like,
After a couple of drinks or something.
no. The day after I was already in Rico's gym. Only hearing that. You know, if I would pick one, like in my formation, that would be one. And in black belt, definitely the fight with Leandro Lobo.
Oh, that was a great fight.
That one.
That was the one where it was like elevated.
Yeah.
It was like, I thought you were gonna fucking fall off, bro. I was like, in my head, like, they made these two dudes fight. Who thought it would be a good idea to put it on a platform? It wasn't even a big mat.
No,
right?
No, it was like a stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything started in Abu Dhabi. I said to Lo, man, we never fought. When am I gonna have that chance? They're like, oh, you want to fight me? I said, of course, you're the one winning everything. You know, when we gonna fight, man? And then he said, okay, what is the next competition for you? I said, you tell. You tell. He said, I think I'm gonna fight in São Paulo. There is another organization there. They have the World Championships also, CBJJE. And they pay money for the winners. I said, okay, but I'm gonna go from Sweden to São Paulo. You're gonna be there. Then he said, yeah. I said, okay, no problem, I come. Time passed, I registered. And then he registered too. So then I went to Rio, trained with the guys for like 2 weeks. I was already training in Sweden. And then I went to São Paulo to fight him. I didn't have anybody to even hold my bag. Renato Canuto was blue belt juvenile. He held my bag. He and his father, Chushi.
So when I was saying, that's another thing that'll make you feel old.
Canuto was blue belt juvenile.
Oh,
So, and then we met in the semifinal that day. And I did 2 fights before him. He did 2, and then we crashed.
That was a crazy fight, man.
You know that those 2 fights.
What year was this, Alan?
2013.
Okay, yeah.
And those 2 fights, it's like I lost them, but I know deep in my heart that there was nothing more I could do at the moment. The guy was better at that moment that they managed to score. The point that made the difference. I lost for low 2-0. Before that, all his fights was like basketball match. 38 and submit. 25 and submit the guys. And then I go there, master already, 8 years like older than him, training in Sweden with my students, and I bring hell and earth for him. So I say, I did everything that I could do. Is him better than me? Yeah, today he was. Because he got the moment that he could score the 2 points, and he did it. I had possibility to score 2 and I didn't. But it's for sure there was a fight that I was going after for a very long time. The time that I thought that I would, then I kind of adopt a whole different way of fighting him. I was studying and making things go for a year, a little bit more than a year. And then came the World Championship 2014. So I was supposed to do 6 fights. I injured the neck in the fight number 5. Lowes was in the final. Then I never had the chance to bring another version, because the things that I saw on him, he was still the same. He didn't evolve, he didn't change anything during the times that he was fighting middleweight and lightweight. He was the same. He started to change his game more when he went up to 88, medium heavy, and 90 kilos. Yeah. You know, he stopped playing the spider guard game, double leg, you know. Yeah. So, but in that period, he didn't have much of a change. So I could find ways to complicate more things for him, but I never had the chance to show. And now, even less, because he passed away. So that would be the 2 fights that I love what happened in the band. I love it.
One thing I want to talk about really quick also is like, what people don't realize is when you were competing at your peak performance at black belt, you know, when you were like getting into the semifinals and fighting like some of the best in my opinion, middleweight has always been like one of the divisions is the hardest, because most divisions you kind of had an idea of like who would win more or less, especially in that time, that specific time, those years. But middleweight was always like, man, anyone from the quarterfinal to the final, anybody who made it to the quarterfinal could be world champion. You know, because it was so stacked, like Calazans, Murillo, I mean, like just the names that of middleweight.
There's also Marcelo Garcia was still fighting, Sérgio Moraes, Vitor Stima, Otávio Souza. The guys from GF team was tough too, Vitor Henrique, Vitor Oliveira, they was very tough.
I mean, Vitor Oliveira lost to, what was it, a couple of years ago, he fought in the semis against Jonathan Gracie. Yeah. That was him, right?
Yeah.
And how old was he then? To make it the semi-final. And European
final.
Yeah.
It was final Europeans.
That's crazy.
Final, yeah. So it was a bunch of very good guys there.
But how was it for you, man, to train and like they're over there, that part of the world, they're getting monster training, being in a massive team. Meanwhile, you're in Stockholm. Where were you training at the time?
Man, I always been training with my students. That was it. I think the biggest thing that could put me, you know, close to these guys was the mindset. I believe a lot that I could do it, and that was it. I think, like, even in my head today, when I'm soon 42, I believe that if I train, I can compete against guys in adult, and I can be able to perform. I have the mindset, even though I know it's considered impossible. Impossible. Fight 10 minutes against a guy 20 years younger than you, sorry, it's over. But in my head, I can win.
But you have to have, not cockiness, right? But almost this like unbreakable self-belief to be able to achieve these things. It's like, it is a little bit, you have to have that arrogance too, right?
You know, no, it's like, you know, I see in a different way, Andrew. I see like this. I want to win the worlds at that time. And to win the worlds, I have to beat these guys. And if I choose not to go, for sure, that day, there is in IBJJF calendar, that date, there will be a world champion. So if I want to put my name there, what I have to do is fight. There's no other way that I will become world champion watching the worlds in Pro Grappling at home, you know. So, and when you know that it's so many good guys in one division, it after a while it doesn't scare you out anymore, doesn't surprise you anymore. And if these guys go there and they don't believe that they are capable of win, they should just go there and take pictures with people. Go to Hollywood, take photos, and get a t-shirt from participating. But the minimum thing I believe that we needed to have, not even most of it, back then was the mentality that you are capable of winning. But I'm training in Sweden. Okay, but then can you go to America and train? I've been doing this for a while before. I was in USA for maybe a month, training with Lucas Leite and the guys, but after a while I couldn't afford anymore. So I was asking Rico of how I would do to train. That was when he was sending me the program, and I start to do early. If a guy that have a bunch of good guys to train with need 2 months to focus in the words, I need 4, 5. So I was starting early with what I had. And in the meantime, I was going to compete so I could keep my competition routine going on, because that counts very much. Stepping the stage and face another guy that is out there and probably will be fighting you in the words. You know, also opportunity to study other guys. And when I could go to Brazil to train for maybe 2 weeks, 3, and back again. So that was it. You know, mostly like if it's your dream, you have to believe it. If it's just a wish, and then I don't think it's enough to go there and actually win.
Brilliant. Alan, we've talked a lot about your competition now and kind of how you came up. What's, like, now that you're focused more on coaching, what's like the plan for you? What do you have in store? We know about, I mean, maybe some people don't know, but you've left Checkmat quite sort of recently, and you've started your own team.
Yes.
Can you let us know a little bit about that?
Yeah. The situation with Checkmat was something that wasn't already going on in a good way for kind of a long time, but I still was solving all the situations in my life, so I just let things be as it was. You know, we've been talking about it, and as long as I was still with the competitor mentality, I wasn't ready to take that step because my focus was in something else. And that decision to step out from the team wasn't easy, but for me at the moment was necessary and was the right thing to do. Evolved so much things that, you know, I've been with Rico for long. I talked to him about the whole situation. He understood, he supported me, because Rico himself wasn't the reason why I left, you know. So that's why my relationship with Rico and the Fight Zone Rio team and all the guys is still the same. You know, we walk in the gym, the picture of the world champions are there, my picture's still there. You know, and for me in my career, this is one of the biggest achievements that I have. It's to have my picture there in the gym, where I know what kind of athletes have been passing through that. And this is something that my son can go there and he's gonna see this, and he's gonna understand the history of that. Especially coming by Rico and Terere and all the guys. You know, I built the Encourage Jiu Jitsu team. It's going on. We already managed to bring some guys to Europeans. We have affiliation in a few other countries, and it's something that I don't focus in. If it's God's will of being something big one day, and my goal is not that. Today, I know I want to have something organized, something that I can give the opportunity for the people around me, and the ones that have been with me for long, they have the opportunity to build something new. And this is a thing that I never had. I mean, I've been world champion, I've been European champion, I've been winning Panam's no gi, I've been winning. As an athlete, I accomplished medals and titles. I managed to reach the black belt. If you go to every boy in the favela that do jiu-jitsu, the 3 dreams that they have is to be world champion, to be black belt, and to have their own gym. So 2 of them I already have. and now by have a step even further to have my own team, you know, I want to try to support and help people, because I believe that I have a lot more to give, but in the Czech mat I wasn't having the opportunity to share that. You know, I have a lot of experience, and for me to implant that on people, I feel that I need more space for that, and I wasn't getting that in the old team. But it's how it is. It's natural, also a step that I think everybody can do, especially nowadays. And I'm excited for the future of the team. I'm working very hard with the entire team. I have a group of people that is putting their heart on that to make it grow in a nice way, that we don't have to deal with other type of things later on, you know, and try to make the best for everyone. I know it's impossible to please everyone, but we try to make things in a way that we all can meet halfway and try to create something new.
But how many academies are affiliated with your team now?
Today, we have affiliations in Finland. We have 2. In Sweden, we have like 4.
Mm.
We have in Greece, help me on Germany,
Italy. Is it one in Italy?
Latvia.
Mm. So the team is growing, but most of
So
those
around
guys.
10 gyms.
Yeah, most of those guys in Greece also, we have a new affiliation there. But most of these guys, they already been working with me from before.
Mm.
Like for example, if I use the guys from Finland, they've been with me since 2008. The first contact they had with me was 2007. So I didn't even know what affiliation seminar was. I just wanted to train and fight. That was it. You know, so, and to be able also to bring it back to those guys, you know, I think it's something different. I trust these guys, man. You know, and
But let's say if I had a gym here in Eskilstuna and I wanted to okay, Alan seems like a really good guy, and I want to, how should an academy or club come in contact with you? Having you over for seminar and then trying to, how can you be connected to your team? That's what I'm thinking.
You just reach out.
Okay.
Any way that you can, that is easier for you.
Yeah.
Social media, telephone, through friends. Like one guy from Gothenburg contacted me through Andrew. So, and we can sit down, we can discuss. First thing I always want to know is how do you think that be part of our team, it's gonna help you to accomplish whatever goals you have as a coach or as a competitor. This is the first thing I need you to know, you know, before anything. If I have to always be honest. If I say, okay, I can do either myself or I have guys that can, you know, help me to deliver that to you. And then we go through all the other things. Because it's easy if I, for example, say, okay, yes. And the only thing I have from you, it's once a year, I send you an email telling you that you have to pay the yearly fee. What is the meaning of you be part of my team if that's the only relationship that we have?
Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking normally you should have a personal relationship before you can join a team. But it's just interesting because here in Sweden there has always been so many small academies with maybe not even a black belt, maybe just blue and purple, and you want to be able to compete, and then you're not affiliated with any team, so you can't go to you can't even register it.
You know,
so people have always, in Sweden it has always been important to be affiliated because you don't have a black belt.
Yeah. So, but my way of working is, I don't want to be the center of the attention. Right now, I have to sign the application for competing of everybody.
I gotta send him every time Messenger Alan. There's this thing. Can you sign it, Alan? Can you sign this?
I'm just begging for the time comes so I can put the guys to do it. You know, and another thing is that about me going to the gyms and have seminars, you know, one time I would like to do it, you know, or you guys come to my gym and do a training there, 1 week training or 1 weekend or one time. So my idea is always to put the head coaches to do that too. You know, so for example, the guys that have the gym in Sweden, if I'm not here, Andre is here.
But when can Andrew, like, if somebody wants to compete in a black belt division, when you need to have 2 stripes to be able to sign?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, 2 or 3. I'm not sure. I got my permission to sign when I got my 3rd stripe.
Okay.
Now I have 4. Next year I have 5. So I think sign is 3 and give black belt is 2. I believe so. But I want the guys to take care of the thing. I want to build something solid, nice, strong, with the principles, and then let the legacy go. I mean, give the opportunity to other people, so the other guys can take care of too. You know.
I remember when you started it, I was wondering why not just call it like Finfou Jiu Jitsu, because everybody knows who Finfou is. But you were saying, yeah, but then it's Finfou. Then everything has to go through Finfou. But one day it will grow bigger than Finfou. And I want it so that it doesn't have to be centered on Finfou anymore.
Yeah. This was the idea for me, and I was searching for a word that could have a strong meaning and very connected to Jiu-Jitsu. You know, and also words that could always be, how I gonna say, be popular and easy to be seen. You watch a movie and you hear the words, you can hear the word encourage. You read a book and there it can be that word. And when people start to hear that name, they can connect it to if you do Jiu-Jitsu, you're going to connect to Jiu-Jitsu. And this is one of the things that I believe that Jiu-Jitsu bring to people's life. I mean, I have been working with people that never compete in anything in their life, and they managed to become European champion. I have been training with people that have no friends. Today is one of the most popular guys in the gym. People that have problem to talk in front of people. Today they are capable to hold classes in the gym. So the Jiu-Jitsu was the tool that we used to encourage those persons to take that step and bring another version of themselves. So that name for me have a special meaning, because like everyone else, I needed to learn in many times of my life in a hard way. You know, and I had people that could encourage me to face things, you know, go through things and don't give up, you know. And I needed a strong word, and that's the one I found with the help of many guys. Remember, we were like,
we're on a messenger
so
group
much
with like
to
names,
man.
logos, symbols. And you know, Alan hates doing this sort of stuff, bro.
Look, my whole life, this is the second podcast I do. My whole life. The first one was in Brazil, like 1.5 years ago. I met the guy that hold a podcast in the cinema when I went to watch the premiere of Terere's movie about his history. So I met the guy there, and then he said, man, you have to go there. But I was following him already I'm like, okay, I go. And it's a big one in Brazil. And now this is the same. I like to just do my thing, and when it's an area that I can't reach, I'm not ashamed to ask for help. You know, or indicate somebody else that I know that is better than me in that area. That's why when the guys was talking with me about logo, I make a group. I put Andrew, I said, look, these guys are the ones that I know is better than me in this area. We have to come up with the logo, guys. Let's go.
Delegating.
Yes.
Daniel's learning how to do
Yeah, I'm having trouble with it, but I'm trying.
No, but that was a journey. That was a journey. But now finally, you know, the lion have the meaning of encouragement, power, and in the Brazilian culture, religion way, it's the way that God is seen. I mean, the lion.
That's a lion.
Yeah, the lion.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's why in the movie Narnia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys watch it.
Yeah.
When they go to Narnia and they see Aslan, that is the lion,
Yeah.
and in one part he say, in your word I might be called different names.
Okay.
And also like in the Bible, the lion of the Judah tribe is referred to God. But the main thing, the main part of the logo of a lion is the encouragement, the power, and all this. The text, simple as possible, clean, so everybody can read.
It looks good on
You
the
know,
back of a gi. You can see it from very far.
Everybody agree, the meaning is strong, and the name encourage itself. I saw in a post of one of my student, Miski, one day she posted something in her history that she wrote some encouragement of, and I'm like, whoa, that word is too big, but how short can we make it? You know, and then after everything, one day I went to her and I said, yeah, you came up with the name. And I talked with Andrew. In the team, he's my right hand. He and the guys from Finland, you know. And then he liked the idea, the guys too, and then we start to make it happen. In the beginning, always take a little bit of while for people to adapt, but now it's there. It's there. And I'm really, I mean, from my heart, I'm happy with the way things are going. I'm excited for what is coming. And the people I have with me, I know that I can count on them. You know, and whoever come in, it's gonna just fit into the puzzle. That's it.
Because running a big team, I mean, you can't be all alone doing it. You need like a strong team of people in the top, like helping you.
Yeah, no, it's impossible.
It's like running a company.
Alone is impossible. You know. Thanks God, I have good people around. I have Tab and Pedrag that take care of the t-shirt, geese, patch. I have Andrew. Man, I have so many people. Miski that she take care of the social media part. Sasha trained with me from white to black belt since I think end of 2007. You know, and he's lawyer, and he take care of all the part. And I always been telling my students that I say to them like, guys, there will come a time in a day that I will not be here anymore. So I need to make sure that we have a solid base, and you guys can run this. Because my idea is to make it happen here, and then start somewhere else, make it happen there, you know, and see what happens.
But like All Star, that's a gym in Stockholm.
Yes.
But your academy is in the gym, or how does it work with All Star?
Yes, today is, you know, but in one of my dreams is to have my own place. And I got some opportunities to be away from Sweden for a while, and when I come back, I believe that I will be able economically to take that step and be independent. Because I think that my students deserve that, my team deserve that, my career deserve that, and me as a person, this is one of the childhood dreams. black belt, be world champion, and have their own gym.
And team.
And team, that is like even extra.
It's like
So-
when you were younger, you wanted to be at the gym.
Yes,
That's what you wanted.
yes, and it's but it's nothing wrong with all stars. We
No,
always-
I'm just curious how it works. Like if
No,
if you rent like a space.
No.
or-
I have as much as freedom as I want since day one. You know, even though All Stars is
How did you start working with All Star? Like because you were you started off like Alexander Gustafsson's coach, right?
Yeah, but before that, I was coach at Fight Zone Stockholm
Yeah.
with Hasse
Hasse.
Persson
Yeah.
and Margareta Mir.
Yeah.
That was also one of the people that have been helping me very much. You know, when I came to Stockholm, and we built the Fight Zone Stockholm team. And after
Lava, Amira Basi,
yeah, all the guys,
Olle.
all of them, Omid, Amir's brother.
Yeah.
For me, no, I mean, I recognize the hard work and dedication of all the teams in Sweden, you know. But I think like that was one of the best teams that Swedish team here that ever been, you know.
I remember back in the days, like maybe 10 years ago, there was so much like when Fight Stone Stockholm
yeah.
versus Hilti
Hilti.
Stockholm,
Yeah.
you know,
That
it was
was-
crazy. You can almost like, it was the closest thing that you can feel when coming to Brazil, you know,
Yeah,
when two academies like in the
Oh, you
national
like
championship.
tournament.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it was
Bro,
crazy.
you guys have no idea
Yeah.
how much I trained this year.
Yeah, it
You
was
know,
crazy.
I need a hard training. I need people with a strong mentality, and I have to make it happen. And my mind in that time, I was 100% competitor.
Yeah.
I teach so I could make money,
Yeah.
you know, and I have to make the guys good. And you know, I remember one time, you know, Hasse always been a hard coach, you know, and he said like, oh, we have to win SM. I'm like, okay, we have to work then. So we started preparation for SM, and then the day before, the SM was in Västerås. The day before, where they have RM and they have SM, and I said, look, everybody gonna fight. Bro, guys that never been competing before, they were like, I said, no, everybody gonna fight. Now we need the team to win, and everyone gonna fight. I don't care. But I never thought, okay, that would be a first time. Everyone, from white to black belt, everybody wanna fight. So I was working with the guys so hard that after a while, it nothing matters anymore. I could see that I could maybe push the guys for 2 hours, and nobody would say a word. And the day before that SM,
SM, that's the national
yeah.
Swedish championship.
Yes. And the RM, that was kind of national
Yeah,
for
like-
the lowest belt.
Yeah, they have, yeah, exactly.
And the night before, we have a meeting in the gym, and I say to the guys, look, now there is no bullshit anymore. I don't want to see you even be friends with the people that you're going to fight. In the warm-up area, they are enemies. You're going to go there, you don't talk to them. You not even look at them.
I had to give
said-
them, you have to have that favela
I said,
mentality.
yeah. I said, everybody was like this. I'm like, yeah, now it's for real. I'm tired of seeing you guys shaking hand and talking and listen music even together with a Now I tell you that today, tomorrow, the first one that I see being friends with you are out.
You're out.
You are out. You are out. Everybody was like, I said, I mean it. I mean, we put a lot of hours on this. You better go there and deliver. Man. The guys went like, I like from my team, in general, I never see a performance like this of a whole team. You know, we won best team in RM and in SM. And in every final of SM, I have a guy. From the lightest one was Amir Albazi, there. up to Martin, like Sasha. Sasha was the heaviest one. So every final I have one. I say, okay guys, I just need 3 of you to win. And then we have already the best. So that club was, I mean, for me was one of the best that I could see and what we could put there. But later on we have to go different directions. And Amir Albazi was like one of the guys that, I mean, I have the chance to work with a lot of people in Sweden, in Jiu-Jitsu especially. You know, we managed to produce guys that won world championships in the belt, in the level that they were at the moment. You know, many European champions. But Amir Albazi for me was the guy that in Jiu-Jitsu I could put more, I could work deeper. You know, because at that time he was the first guy, immigrant, that I have the possibility to work with, like day by day. And
he was so young as well.
Yes.
I remember the first time I saw him, he was maybe 15 years old, competing at the national level in no-gi grappling.
Amir, he wasn't BJJ. He was only training MMA since he was, I think, 13. He go to, and Hasser was holding the MMA classes. So Amir was only doing MMA until one day it came Swedish Open was in Stenungsund, and then they have kids, because back then we don't have much kids competition. And then I say, Amir, why you don't go to Stenungsund to compete? And he said, I don't train with the gi. Then he said, I said, you just do double leg, side control, and do Americana on the guy. They're gonna cry or they're gonna tap, you're gonna win. The same thing that Terere was telling us back in the days. We try to understand much. He said, look, make the other boy cry or tap, and then you win. Then we learned the point system. So I understood that Amir have the time, and for 13 years old go to MMA, he have the heart.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But he's in the UFC now.
Yeah.
He's based out of the UK now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he moved there to study.
He studied, and then he I think now he's in Las Vegas. He moved to Vegas.
Okay.
So, and then when he went to that competition, he won. He come back, he never won a medal before. So as a child, he got very excited, happy, then he started to do BJJ. And I could see that he absorbed things fast, and he kept doing MMA too. So, and then it became, for me, like during the time he was living in Sweden, he became one of the best competitors. You know, who was the guys that he lost to with the gi international during the time I was working with him was Miao, Márcio André. That was it.
So basically some of the best featherweights.
That was it. Márcio André and Miao. And I say when Miao in purple belt final European, his first purple belt tournament, and Miao again and Márcio André in the World Pro when they were blue belts. Because in the World Pro you could do gi and no gi. One weekend was gi, was no gi, and then the other weekend was gi. So in that time when he was blue belt. But in Sweden he was doing fine. So.
But how did you end up working with All Stars?
Oh yeah, was when I left Fight Zone, I was planning to move to England. You know, there I would have the contact with the London Fight Factory. And the end of 2012, I went to Brazil because I was raised by my grandma and she was sick, and we need to buy a machine for her to breathe. And that machine, thanks God, kept my grandma alive for 5 years more. And trained for the Europeans 2013. So before I went to Brazil, Gustafsson had a fight against Shogun. You know, in the UFC.
It wasn't Globen, right?
No. Thiago Silva was in Globen. Shogun was in the USA. And back then, Lloyd Irving was in Gustafsson's corner. Okay? So somehow during the fight, I think Shogun almost did a leg lock on Gustafsson. And then they went away, Gustafsson won. It was like in that period was his biggest victory against one of the biggest names in the UFC. Mm-hmm. So Andreas Michael, somehow, I don't know, he contacted Max Philipson. Because during that period that I left Fight Zone, I didn't have a place to teach. So I was having seminars to collect money, and I was holding class 2 times in Kebab Cowboys in Soritelia, and I was giving private lessons to Max Philipson 2 times a week in Nexus. So I didn't know Andreas Michael. But Andreas Michael was also a coach in Nexus. One day when I went to Nexus to teach Max Philipson, Andreas Michael saw me there. And then somehow he contacted Max, and Max called me and said, look, this guy gonna call you, I'm gonna give your number to him, and he wanna ask you about a gym that they are opening in Stockholm. I also gonna be coaching there. And it's an opportunity for you. He worked with Alexander Gustafsson, and he said that some MMA fighter is gonna be there. So I'm gonna give him your number, and he's gonna contact you. I said, okay. So later on, Andreas called me, and we set a meeting. So they came back from USA, I met them. And then what Andreas wanted was that I hold private classes for the MMA fighters. He said, look, I know that you're teaching all the gyms in Sweden, but I just wanna buy your service. We have some MMA fighters that we want you to train them on the ground. Then I say, look, I'm planning to move to England. I don't work here in all the gym anymore, and I've been planning to leave. And then they say, what? You are moving? I say, yeah. So him and another guy, Michael Shamas, they put me in a car and drove me to the old All-Stars. So when we got there, was a lot of guys there doing construction, breaking things, and then he said, look, in 1 month from now, this is gonna be a training center. And if you want, we need a head coach of Jiu-Jitsu and grappling. If you want, we would love to have you here. And then Magdi Shamas came, and then he said, bro, I think I have seen you before. I'm like, ah. Because 2006, I was out in Stockholm. When my brother got killed, Rico bought a ticket with Hasse and took me away from Brazil, just to come to Sweden for do nothing. You know, I was here for maybe 10 days, and then I have to go back to fight the words as a brown belt. So that time that he could send me, I was in East nightclub. And then one guy came to me and started to talk to me. I didn't know the guy. So and then I'm there in All Stars, everybody's doing construction there, and then Magni came, it was him.
And that's not so common in Sweden. Like nobody comes up and talk to you randomly.
Yeah. You know, and then he explained to me, and I remembered. So they kept talking to me and explained. And back then I went home and talked with my girlfriend, and then she was like, oh, then you don't have to move. So then I accepted the job. And since then, January 2013, 19th of January to be precise, I started to work with All Stars.
So a lot of MMA fighters.
Yeah, and then, look, before that, I was only focused on Jiu-Jitsu. But I remember times that I saw Damian Maia training when we were on the same team, Léo Vieira training then, and never been something that I was interested in, you know. One time, after the Worlds 2008, the one guy in America. He was sponsoring BJ Penn's camp. And they asked if I would want to join the camp in Hawaii. I said, no, I gotta go back to Sweden. And then Lucas Late went to help BJ. So I have opportunities to migrate to MMA before that, but I want to be world champion, in Jiu-Jitsu.
But you were never interested to compete in MMA yourself?
No.
Never?
No.
I feel like MMA has always been kind of like a job for you.
Yeah, because,
like,
nobody, like, if would be today, for sure I would go to MMA. If I would be like 22 today,
yeah.
in the directly. If the same Finfou, when I was purple belt, that came to Sweden, would be happening now with the level of jiu-jitsu the new generation have, the same everything, I would have the idea of migrate to MMA sooner or later. Because now everyone can see, you can make a living by that. But back in the days, the UFC wasn't like now. Like if we talk 2004, 5, wasn't the same, but it is what it is. But when I started with work in All Stars, and then I started to like get the interest of studying another area, that was just my area. If you look at a big picture of MMA, it's everything, but I don't have to focus on that. I don't have to even look at it. I just look at the ground. And then I don't think it's hard, because to work to build a strategy or game plan for the guys on the ground, because there's only one guy, and you have like 12 weeks to study the guy, and there are ways that after a while you understand how to break down. You look at the guy way of playing on the ground, top, bottom, and then you look at what is his reactions, what is him for real, and what he used for specific fights. So you watch 3-4 fights of a guy, and then you already can start.
But is it fun to break that down, like just for MMA, like that, only the grappling thing?
For me, yeah. It's fun, because it's like you put yourself there. Okay, if I would fight this guy only on the ground, he does this. What would I do? Okay, Alan, we will do this because of that. And then I try to put that in the guys. So if a guy, let's say, if I have a guy high level ground fight, then we're good. When you take a striker,
barely hit
you know what I mean? Then it's tough. And then we use the how to say the number one plan, avoid the ground at all costs. So we spend time as much as possible in your comfort place, striking, standing up. Either the guy gonna try to take you down in the middle, or the guy gonna try to take you down on the cage when you don't have space. So your takedown defense have to be, on time in those areas, how to identify, and if you get taken down, how we react immediately, how we work our way to stand up without giving the back. Those are things that I think the way that we train in Jiu-Jitsu, it makes it very easy when you implant in MMA. Because what we do in Jiu-Jitsu, when we learn a new movement, we drill. We have the habit of drill. But the MMA guys don't have this on the ground. They have one technique, usually, and then they spar, they roll. But then we need to make that.
You implement the drilling then?
Yes, but according to MMA, because then your distance have to be very important, especially on the bottom. Your face is the target. So if you mess up with the distance, then the next thing you're gonna see is the white roof, is a hospital. You're gonna wake up there. So if you think jiu-jitsu on the ground MMA, you commit a suicide. If you think grappling, you commit a suicide. It should be another type of sport. MMA grappling. you use the way of jiu-jitsu, of behaving on the ground with the body position, but the distance game, if you have the long distance, when you're on top, you give opportunity and space for the guy stand up. If you're close to him, you need to use your legs to trap him, so you can have your arms free to ground and pound and set up submission or game position. So it's an interest type of game, you understand? So I enjoy doing it, but I one thing I have to say, it's not easy, especially when you are the only grappling coach in a gym like All Stars, and
yeah, man, with a lot of fighters.
you know, a lot of fighters, different backgrounds and style of fighters. The same time I run in my jiu-jitsu class, there are people competing, doing my training, competing also myself. So
Creating a team.
it's not, it's not easy, but if you have the passion, and then you always find a way.
What's harder, do you think, Alan? Training a high-level MMA guy, but maybe is not very good on the ground, or training high-level jiu-jitsu guys, but they're competing at the highest level in the world?
It's different. You know, it's the jiu-jitsu guy, it gonna exige more, because in a tournament, in a high level, you're gonna have 5, 6 fights nowadays. Less than that, I think, is between 4 and 6 fights. So it's 50 different guys that we have to pay attention on. But the MMA, it always goes according to who you're fighting. You know, BJJ also, you adapt, you know, but in MMA, because of the punching and elbow and all this, it takes your attention in a different way. You know, the price you pay, it's more expensive there. It can happen everything from jiu-jitsu, a choke, you sleep, or you breaking a joint of the body, you know, including the knockout. So it's for example, in MMA, it's never like a cake recipe. It's one recipe, it's one cocktail according to who you are fighting today. Another opponent, you take that, you throw it away, and then you start again. It's a different approachment, it's a different guy.
Yeah.
So it's not one way for the whole way, but constantly, what the guys need to work, there are principles and there are basic things that need to always be there when it comes to the ground. And this is where I make the drills. You know, I don't make a drill according to strategy to fight opponent. I make the MMA drills according to, it doesn't matter who you fight, those reactions must be there. Position of your hip, if you're in that situation, it's this, it's no other way than that. You know, how to progress from here to here. So those kind of thoughts, I try to create a muscle memory, because it's like the ground part of what you're gonna add according to who you're gonna fight.
Yeah. And with jiu-jitsu, it's like you said, you don't know who your opponent might be on that day, and you have to have you can't be so specific as to what you need to cover. You have to be able to cover all areas of where the match might go.
Yeah.
Even though you're trying to impose your specific game, you still need to be prepared for whatever other areas of the match the fight might go. And then it's also different, maybe with each opponent you might face, you might play a slightly different kind of game.
Yes. You know, like I said, jiu-jitsu it's like for break down everything is very hard. Very, very hard. It's too many guys, you know, a black belt adult, it's 10 minutes match. You build a strategy, you apply in the wrong time, ain't gonna work. It doesn't mean that the game plan will not work at all. It's just not the right time to apply yet. Then you have to bring the fight to another area. Either you get something out of it, or you keep the fighting just going so you can surprise the guy and go back to where it was your plan from the beginning. You know, it's difficult, man. You know, I remember during the time that I have Rico, it was very easy, man. It was very easy for me. All I gotta do is train. That was it. You know, I have Rico screaming at me, shouting my name in the training. Everything was easy. Because I got this from him, that I always expect more from the ones that I believe in. You know, and if I stop believing, and then I don't put more pressure on the guy. I don't try to extract anything more from that person. You know, and this also been a big issue with me and many athletes that I've been working with, especially in Jiu-Jitsu. You know, but the hardest time for me in the career was when I didn't have my coach anymore. I chose to move to Sweden. I have to do his job and mine. I had him sometimes online, and was an era that I never done. You know, and I didn't have him shouting my name anymore. And when I was going to Brazil, he was focusing on the guys. Jack, you know, all the other guys that was coming, Ari Farias, Yuri. When I roll with them, I hear the other guy's name. So that kind of make me, okay, I have to go to work in the way that he was doing. But how? I didn't even know. All these I have to figure out by myself. So to study the guys, have idea. But what I do in Jiu-Jitsu is a different. So let's say if I'm gonna study an opponent, I don't look at what they do. I look at what side they play guard. Okay, the guy's a guard player, okay, but what side did he play? Okay, then I know. I have to pass to the other one in case I'm on top. This guy is faster than me, I have to lock him. How is his approach, man? On let's say, then if I have my back on the floor, if I play guard, this guy pass offering the leg when he step forward to pass maybe with knee slice, and then okay, ways to lock a guy like this. He's faster than me, okay, he gonna pull guard faster than me. What advantage can I get out of it? Okay, either I double pull, or I accept the pull and I play on top. Okay, I choose to double pull. I'm gonna come up, because I know that this guy is a guard player. I come up with one advantage, but I have to come up out of the guard, so he don't start attacking, not playing his game. So it's things that I see, what side the guy pass. You see the pressure pass, a speed pass, or a guy that switch side a lot. You know, so I don't look at the technique that the guys use. I look at the concept that they apply. And then my first way of dealing with this, avoid it. Put the fight anywhere else except here. If a guy is good at close guard, I will not spend one time of my preparation surviving in a close guard. My whole preparation will be, I will not get here. And will not happen, because I'm gonna set the mind and I'm gonna work to avoid it at all costs. And I believe in that. And then the whole time I notice that the guys are trying to bring me to an area where they are comfortable. That means that they are not fighting me. They are not attacking me. They are searching for control where they are comfortable to use. So they are step behind. So it's those tools that I use to study people in Jiu-Jitsu is what have been helping me a lot. When I found that, then I start find my way back again, because during that period that I didn't have my coach, I was losing for 3 years in a row. From 2010, and I started to win again a few things, 2013. So